Oh, I know you're hungry. Don't make your belly sounds at me, man. I know. After officially surviving 50 days, we decided to celebrate by throwing Mackenzie a feast. So first, we did a few chores to work up his appetite, and then we started making our way back to the community center, picking up sticks and making sure to say hi to all the animals along the way, like a Disney princess. And once we arrived at the community center, we went straight to the kitchen to start preparing our feast. We made steaks, we made stew, we made bannock, and we made lots and lots of pie.
I'm gonna need to eat soon.
But before we could eat, first we had to set the table. And once our display was complete, it was finally time to dig into our feast. And after getting high on some rose hips, we curled into bed and called it a night.
Too heavy.
Oh, that's not gonna stop me from picking up sticks though, Mackenzie. Nothing in this universe can stop me from picking up sticks. After our feast, it was time to get back to the real world. We had big plans today to pack up all of our garbage and bring it to the farmhouse, where we would consolidate it, do some inventory management, then make our way to Mystery Lake through our favorite cave. So we packed up all of our stuff, made some tea, and then hit the road, where we immediately ran into a wolf. And we walked together in silence for a little bit, but eventually it was time to part ways and continue our journey alone. But we started getting lonely on the road, so we decided to take a pit stop to visit our dead friend in the barn, where we shared a nice warm fire and a hot cup of tea, before heading out back towards the farmhouse. And when we finally arrived at the farmhouse, we immediately got cozy and leveled up our fire starting skill in the process. Then we did some thrilling inventory management, before heading down to the basement to craft some fishing materials that we knew that we would need at Mystery Lake. Then it was finally time to start our second leg of the journey, but unfortunately the weather was not cooperating. So we just sat on the porch and did some crafting and some reading. And then we admired the sunset aurora combo and decided it would be even more beautiful if we were high on rose hips. Wow, it makes it extra trippy! Fun! Fun. After partying pretty hard, we curled into bed and called it a night.
Wonder if I can drop any of this gear.
Oh, Mackenzie, it's heavy lifting. It's how you bulk up. Don't you want to have that summer bod? The next day, it was finally time to make our way to Mystery Lake and then onwards to the forge. So we had a nice hearty breakfast of toilet water and potatoes, then began our journey. We said our goodbyes to the bear, and as we were approaching the rope, the wind started to pick up. So we hid in the bear's cave and repaired our socks until the blizzard went away. And once the weather was clear, we continued our journey up the rope and through the trees towards the cave. We stealthily snuck past a wolf and made it to the cave system without getting lost at all. Once inside the cave, we picked up our coal from our dead friend, and the other garbage we left at the entrance of the cave, and then started making our way through the winding river region towards the dam. As the sun was setting, we crawled into the dam through a window, trudged through the creepy hallways, and finally arrived in Mystery Lake, where we very slowly made our way towards the trailer, found a nice warm bed, and got a full night's rest, ready to begin our new lives in the morning. Oh, Mackenzie, everything is not going well. Things are going not well. The next day, we woke up eager to start our new lives in Mystery Lake. Our plan was to just follow the railroad tracks all the way down to a cabin that we knew existed from story mode. And as we started our journey, we found a truck which had a note that mentioned the Milton region, another region from story mode. It marked a spot on our map that we were definitely going to explore someday. But we had other objectives to tend to, so we just followed the railroad tracks when we noticed a dead deer and some good foraging off the side of the road. So we plopped down a fire, then did some good old-fashioned gathering and hunting. Kinda. While preparing some tea for the road, a blizzard suddenly hit, and it started blowing out our fire. And in a panic, we just ran back to our trailer to wait it out. The weather finally cleared up around sunset, and due to pure stubbornness, we decided to press ahead anyways. Just a quick jaunt down the railroad tracks, we found a promising-looking train car, where we huddled inside to make a map, and made a quick fire to heat up our buckets of tea to fuel us for the road ahead. With our belly full of hot tea, we continued following the railroad tracks, when we came across another dead deer. Naturally, we decided to hack him up and cook him for dinner, and that's when we realized that we were missing both our cooking pot and our cooking skillet, which we had left at the other deer carcass this morning. Too embarrassed to acknowledge the problem now, we decided to push forward and deal with it later, when we immediately ran into a wolf. We ducked into a nearby train car, where we started a big old fire and ate our feelings. And when we noticed the aurora was out, we knew we had to stay in this train car all night. So we spent way too long trying to lay down our bedroll, and eventually went to bed. Oh, is he going for it? Ooh, that looks like a puppy on a mission. Now, what if we go this way, though? Look, here's the deer. Look, here, get him. The next morning, we woke up in our train car, had a nice hot potato for breakfast, and then began our walk of shame to rescue our cooking pot and our cooking skillet, just like we did back in Timberwolf Mountain. Once we retrieved our pot and skillet, we headed back to the trailer for a pit stop, where a wolf was just waiting for us. So we went inside, got some sticks from our stash, and headed right back out, where the wolf had mysteriously vanished. And we were able to just follow the railroad tracks in peace. On our way back, we saw some ptarmigans off the side of the road and tried to get some ptarmigan redemption, just like we did back in Timberwolf Mountain. But it didn't work, and we had to continue on our way ptarmiganless, realizing that life is not as cyclical as we thought it was. And as we were doing the sad Charlie Brown walk, a wolf appeared and followed us all the way back to our derailed train car, where we took a quick pit stop, did some inventory management,
Feels like a lot of gear.
then bravely scared the wolf away, before continuing on our journey, where the wolf was waiting just around the corner. But we eventually found the cabin we were looking for, and Mackenzie was very excited about everything we found inside.
I can make something with this. Think I can use this. This'll come in handy. Is it food? Or hope nobody needs this anymore. This stuff will come in handy.
And since there was plenty of daylight left, we went outside to do our classic outdoor activities: map making, hunting, and gathering, before eating some moldy beef jerky and sleeping it off. And you know I say this a lot, Mackenzie, but today is the day. The next day was the day that we were gonna go to the forge. So we treated ourselves to a nice hearty breakfast, then hit the road, where a very supportive wolf came by to see us off on our journey as we followed the railroad tracks towards the Forlorn Muskeg region, where we immediately drew a map to get our bearings, and then continued on our way. Since Forlorn Muskeg was in story mode, we knew all about the thin ice that awaited us, so we decided to take the long way around, where we ran into another supportive wolf cheering us on. He cheered us on all the way to an abandoned camp that we quickly claimed as our own. We marked our new camp on the map, had a nice spot of tea, remembered to pick up our cooking pot, scared away our cheerleader again, and then continued on our way, where we eventually found a cave, and upon closer inspection, turned out to be a way to another region. Oh, I don't want to leave Forlorn Muskeg. I'm not ready to do just that. Hold on. Oh. And instead of going inside, we just drew a map and continued on our way. And after a few close calls with the thin ice, we eventually made it to the old Spence family homestead, where we finally found the forge. And we wasted no time firing it up and filling it with all the coal we've been carrying for weeks. While we were waiting for the forge to heat up, we explored the space and found a cute little loft and a nice new ski
Nobody
jacket.
needs this anymore.
Then it was finally time to start forging. We made arrowheads. We made an improvised knife. And we made an improvised hatchet. And we were so excited that we ended up working all through the night.
My energy is just disappearing. Looks like I survived another night. I'd lay down right here if I thought I'd ever wake up again.
Oh my God, you're being dramatic, Mackenzie. You're being dramatic. After a long night of forging, we went up to our loft to take a quick power nap to try to get back on a regular sleep schedule. And when we woke up, we wasted no time getting to know our hatchet. Then we headed outside to pay a visit to some crows, when we noticed even more crows in the distance, and made a note to check them out later. When we arrived at the first set of crows, we found ourselves a deer carcass, where we made a map just to see if there were any saplings in the area, which there weren't. Then we harvested the deer carcass and started heading back to our forage, when we noticed a third set of crows up on a hill. But we were too tired to do anything about that now, so instead we just did some cooking and some crafting before heading back up to our loft to finally get some rest. Whoa, the knife! The knife is the speediest new animation. Oh, good. Oh, Mackenzie! Oh, man. Why do you have to stab it like that, Mackenzie? It just seems unnecessary, really. The next morning, Mackenzie woke up in much better spirits now that he'd gotten a full night's rest.
Looks like a new day is dawning.
And after a nice hearty breakfast, we headed out on the Carcass Tour 2025, where we visited all the crows in the area, harvested the carcasses, and made some maps. Then we decided to just kind of wander around and explore the area, looking for a bunker and a safe that were mentioned in a comment. We didn't find the bunker, but we did find some rabbits and a nice cozy cave nearby. In the cave, we found some goodies and a mysterious Polaroid that marked a spot on our map. Then we left the cave to go draw some more maps and hunt the bunnies. And as the fog started to roll in, we decided to head back to our forge, where we spent the rest of the day just doing chores, before climbing up to our loft and going to bed. What is my life? My life is only mushrooms and fog. I remember nothing else. The next morning, we were ready to leave our forge behind and head all the way back to Mystery Lake. And while preparing a very complicated dish for breakfast, we ended up leveling up our cooking skill for the final time. Feeling pretty confident, we headed out on our journey, keeping an eye out for saplings to go with our newly crafted arrowheads. But we only found mushrooms. So many mushrooms. An obscene amount of mushrooms, really. But eventually we did spot some saplings on an island in the lake. But too scared to cross the ice, we decided to go the long way around and just follow the shoreline, until eventually it was too foggy for us to confidently continue, so we retreated into the forest looking for a cave to wait out the fog. While we were waiting for the fog to go away, we just sat in the cave and crafted the mushrooms that we harvested on the way here. But the fog never really went away, and so we just kept crafting mushrooms and making tea until we had almost 2 flaskfuls of mushroom tea. We were starting to go a little crazy waiting for the fog to go away, and we decided we needed a change of scenery. So we headed out into the gray nothingness looking for the cave that left the region. And when we eventually found it, we went inside, went through the entire cave, and found ourselves in the Bleak Inlet region. Another region that was not in story mode, and we had no idea what to expect. And almost immediately after leaving our cave, we found ourselves a wolf carcass, and got to witness a brand new animation. And while we expertly cooked our wolf meat, we drew a map to see if there are any saplings nearby. Which there were not, only a cougar and even more mushrooms, which we shamelessly harvested while the cougar screamed at us. Then we scurried back to our cave, laid down our bedroll, and called it a night.
That guy who drank his own pee doesn't seem so crazy right now.
Well, that's a voice line I've never heard you say, Mackenzie. But why drink pee when you can drink mushroom tea? And the next morning, we did just that. We decided to have a nice mushroom tea cleanse for breakfast, and then we turned around and walked all the way through the cave back to Forlorn Muskeg, determined to get to Sapling Island. And since we could actually see in front of us today, we found it pretty quickly, and the whole thing was weirdly anticlimactic. So after completing our pilgrimage to Sapling Island, we headed back to the cave to warm up and heat up our literal buckets of tea before grabbing all of our garbage and heading out towards Mystery Lake, where we stumbled upon a birch sapling and some more mushrooms, which at this point we had a full-blown addiction to. Everything was going surprisingly well, and that's when the wolf appeared. Like we had done so many times before, we just let the wolf follow quietly behind us. But when we decided to stop for some more mushrooms, the wolf decided he had had enough. Severely injured and scared of the wolf coming back, we decided to make a fire before taking note of all of our various ailments and getting to work treating them.
All I can think about is food.
Not the wolf bites? You're not bothered by the wolf bites, Mackenzie? Once all of our injuries were taken care of, we made ourselves some hot birch bark tea, and then just carried on. And we eventually noticed a wolf-looking lump up on a hill, and upon closer inspection, we're pretty sure this was the wolf that attacked us. Blinded by rage, we enacted some weird revenge, and then continued on our way. When we were ambushed by not one, but 2 more wolves. So we just kept our head down and tried not to make eye contact, and we eventually did make it to Mystery Lake, where another wolf was waiting for us. We scared him off with our torch, and then slowly crawled our way back to our cabin. But by the time we got there, we were hanging on by a thread. But after drinking some nice hot tea and eating the flesh of our enemies, we were starting to feel much better. Then we curled up in our nice warm bed, just happy to be alive.